Says
Hi,
we're live.
we are live. Hi, everybody. This
All
is
right.
House of Wisdom and Food, and it's Friday with a friend, and we have a friend with us today. His name is John. His YouTube channel is IF Your Keto, and John and I met, kind of sorta, through Amy at help me, John,
Ketolicious life.
Ketolicious Life.
Check her out.
And check her out when we did a grab box thing, and he was one of the ones. And so we both only did it once, but we remain friends with Amy. She's a doll. So,
Yes.
John,
Hello. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here, and I appreciate this interview.
I know this is a lot of fun, and I'll get to drink my coffee because I'll ask you enough questions so you
Cheers.
can. So, anyway, are you a glass mug person too?
I got so many different mugs. My girlfriend loves different kinds of mugs, so it just depends on the day, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I like glass mugs. Anyway, John comes to us from Kansas, and he, as his name would give you a hint, intermittent faster. He does keto, but sometimes he changes it up.
Mhm.
He's going to tell us. He's going to give us a little bit of his food history and what brought him here and the successes he's had. So, welcome, John. Take
Thank you so much. Again, I appreciate you having me on. And I guess I'll just start from the very beginning. It might be a little long, but we'll see. So if you guys don't know, I've lost over 150 pounds in my lifetime. I used to be very heavy, and I actually did it mostly with the If It Fits Your Macros and exercising protocol. But like a lot of you guys know, if you've ever done that before, it's not sustainable. And so I did lose a whole lot of weight, and I was able to keep the majority of it off. Like I'd keep about, 80 to 100 pounds off, but I'd always put on, 50, 60, 70 pounds back and forth, take it off, put it on, take it off, put it on. And it was just kind of a pattern of yo-yo dieting. And so finally, I was getting a little older, actually. I think I hit 30, and I started to gain the weight back again, and it really scared me
30,
because I was at a
30. Older.
I know. I was at a point in my life where I was really being fit and getting really big into fitness and everything. And so when I started to put the weight back on, I put about 25 pounds back on. It really scared me. I didn't want to go back down that path of gaining it again. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to my old tricks and revert back to dieting. And if it fits your macros, okay. I even tried juicing. Like I was trying pulling out all the stops to try to lose this weight, and it just wasn't working anymore. It was weird because this had always worked for me before. I was able to put the weight on, but I could take it off if I just buckled down, reset my mind and said, hey, we're gonna be strict now. And it just wasn't, I wasn't able to do it. Like I said, I was even doing juicing and wasn't losing weight, and in fact was either gaining weight or just staying the same. And I said, what's going on here? So what worked before won't always keep working for you. And so I just started to do some research, and I remember I had heard about keto because I had worked with a trainer years before when I was really heavy, and he had me do it kind of back then. It was more Atkins, but he called it getting into ketogen or keto. So I looked into that and decided to do some research on it, and I stumbled upon intermittent fasting and keto, and I just like was just absorbing all this information, and I was like really excited about it. Everything I was learning, I was watching a bunch of YouTube channels and just soaking it up, and I decided to try it the first of the year. And so I dove into it, and I dove head in first. I started fasting and keto at the same time, and the pounds started to melt away. But I started for the weight loss, but once I started to feel amazing and realize, oh my gosh, like this is like running off octane fuel, it's like going from unleaded to premium. It was amazing to me. And so I just never looked back. I just did more and more research. And the more I started to find out about, how much information we were fed that was wrong, and the things that we were eating was not what we should be eating. We shouldn't be eating 20 times a day, like fasting is okay. You're not going to dwindle away your muscle. Like, just all these things that you hear from conventional wisdom is just not true. And so I learned more and more about keto and fasting. And I got so passionate about it and just wanted to tell everybody. And I was like, You know what? And actually, I'm sure you've heard of him. Goody Beats was one of my favorite channels that I watched, and he just really inspired me to start my own channel and was like, just do it. Who cares what people think? And I was like, you know what? He's right. Like I really have a passion for this. I want to help people, and I know what it's like to be unhealthy and not be happy with yourself. And man, if I'm feeling this great on this diet and this lifestyle, then I want everybody to feel like this. And that's kind of just how I came across keto and fasting, and I really just stuck with it for the longevity and just how great I feel on it, not just the weight loss. So. Sorry.
But that's okay. I finished mine.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that's how I got to this point, and I don't think I know I'll never go back to any other way of eating. I really just love this lifestyle, love the way I feel, and obviously we're all gonna have times where we might have a cheat day, or we eat something we shouldn't, and that's just a moment of weakness. But we move on. I can definitely see myself doing this for the rest of my life. This is what I love, so I just want to help people discover it. It's
Goody
exciting to
Beats
me
was
when
it?
you
Oh, go
sorry.
ahead.
Oh, it's exciting to me when you go and you see this getting bigger and bigger when before it wasn't as big. Like I'm going into the grocery stores, I'm seeing more keto friendly products, and just everything's growing so big. The low carb movement itself is getting bigger, and that's great because that means more people are going to start getting healthy, and that's really what direction we need to be going in as a nation. So
Lucky you for getting it younger. I was twice your age when I started keto.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I began with Goody Beats too. He was one of the first ones that I followed. Every time there was a new video, I would follow him, and he was just such a nice guy. But I liked his videos because he showed the cooking part too. And I always have portion distortion, and
Oh yeah.
and so he did it in such a way that I could get it. And I loved when he took us to Heb shopping and stuff like that. So I liked him a lot. And so that's funny that we both kind of started
Yeah.
the same
He's pretty
man.
amazing.
Yeah, he is. He is. Now, when you were doing that, putting on 60, taking off 70, putting on 70, and all that, what foods were you eating then versus the keto that's been so successful for you now?
Well,
The if it fits your macros. I don't know how long it took me to figure out that acronym when I'd read it.
yeah, I can remember when I was just starting out learning about what macro was. Like, what's a
Yeah.
macro? Like, what are they talking about? What are these macro percentages? Well, I mean, back then it was really just the bro science mentality, Like I was just kind of listening to what people were telling me or what I was reading in your latest popular fitness magazine, and so like I was just eating chicken breast and green beans and protein shakes and broccoli and lean steak, just nothing fun at all for sure. And that's why it's just not sustainable. And that's not just my opinion. I feel that's the scientific evidence. When you look at a broad spectrum of people who have lost weight, only 5% of those people are able to keep that weight off. That's pretty amazing to me to know that 95% of people lose this weight and then end up putting it back on and then some, or just putting it back on. And I just can't believe those numbers. But I was just definitely eating your average bro diet of just lean meats, vegetables, no fat, nothing fun. So,
Were you a gym rat or are you a gym rat?
I'm pretty much a gym rat now. I love the gym. I'm super into fitness. Just love to push myself, trying to build muscle, and it's I love that lifestyle. Back then, I wasn't really a gym rat per se, but I was working out still. So I've been working out consistently now for like the past 4 years. So.
You must have been starving on that diet.
Absolutely, such a great point. Like I never in a million years thought I would find a way of eating where I wasn't thinking about food, because I can remember I would have like 6 meals a day and snacks. And when I would finish that meal or snack, I'm thinking about that next meal. Like I'm like, okay, now it's only 2.5 more hours. All right, you can do this. You can get through till that next meal. And I was just always starving. Now that I fast, I'm maybe eating 2 meals a day at the most, with maybe some bulletproof coffee in there, and I'm never starving. There's times where I'm not hungry. There's times where I have to tell myself, you got to eat, man, because I do train hard, so it's important for me to get my calories in, macros in. Um, you know, sometimes I'm just not hungry. I'm just like, well, I'm just going to fast for 48 hours, and I'll do a longevity fast like that. So it's just amazing to me how the hormones get so messed up on a regular standard American diet where it turns off your ability to be satiated, like you just are hungry all the time and ravenous and just, it used to be like, I used to be in my mind that, oh, if I'm hungry, that means my metabolism's working, like it's a good thing, but it's just not normal. We're not normally supposed to be eating that often. So it's just crazy how much different this is now that I'm on keto. I can just not even think about food.
I know, and you said it's not normal, but I bet it's like the norm. I mean, aren't most of us, thinking that in order to lose weight, you have to be hungry?
Right. I guess you're right. I think, and I was just seeing this on Facebook the other day. I'm not like too big into like jumping into people's conversations and like giving my opinion on it. Like maybe I should be better about that if it's the right, correct information, but I just feel like I'm overstepping at times. But I hear even some of my friends, and I saw a thread where they were talking about, oh yeah, I'm trying to lose weight. And, I just know I got to eat more often and work out more often. And I'm just like, no, that's not, you don't have to eat 20 times a day. Like, so
And
I
it
don't know,
takes a
maybe.
long time to get to this path, and I wouldn't have listened to anybody even if they said it.
Right. You
You're
will
young
encounter a
and
lot of stubborn people.
you're young and you're calling yourself, the bro guy. Did you ever order one of those bricks from Robert?
No, Keto Savage is an
Yeah,
awesome guy. I do like
yeah.
him. I've definitely watched some of his content. I have not ordered one of those bricks yet. Have you?
No, but I always I figured you'd be a perfect person to ask because I wondered if liked him because I've watched him and his grocery hauls and his philosophy, and he just, he seems like your age. And
Yeah, he's a little bit younger than me. Thank you though. But I listen to his podcast and I really love it. And he's just an amazing person. He's very business driven. I aspire to be like him. Like I really think he's just so motivated and driven and doing so much for the keto community. And I just admire that so much. Like all these heavy hitters, I consider him one of the heavy hitters of the keto community. And I definitely aspire to be like him and moving towards the same goal as far as helping people with keto, bringing people to keto and fasting, and building my brand and getting into business with doing that.
he seems like such a gentle, approachable soul.
Yes.
I like that about him. So I just wondered if you two were kind of connected at
Oh,
all.
I wish, man. I wonder if he would listen to me if I reached out. I'm sure he gets flooded with emails. So.
I'm sure he does, but yet he doesn't seem to be. It hasn't gone to his head or anything. He just seems,
Right, right.
and he does say, "I love the business drive. I just love it."
Yeah, absolutely. He's just so busy. Like I wonder if I were to email him if he would respond.
Well, try it. You never know, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I do want to get me one of those bricks. I'm gonna have to try it out. I'm
Yeah.
imagining in my mind that it's like a big old fat bomb. Like I used to make fat bombs. I try not to make them so much anymore because you know how that can be. You can eat one of those things and all of a sudden the whole bag's gone and you're like, that's like 5,000 calories.
I
So,
know. I know. Well, I used to treat myself to them, but I'm pretty structured and strict now. So, all right. So, what I want to ask you now, John, is when you wake up, walk us through your day of all the things you do: supplements, water, um,
okay.
foods, when you eat, that sort of stuff.
All right. So that kind of changes from day to day, but as far as my average day during the week, if I have to wake up for work, I wake up fairly early. I have to be at work by 7 a.m. So like if I want to go to the gym before work, I'm usually having to wake up by 4:30, 5 a.m. And so like the first thing I do when I wake up is start to drink some water just because you have been dehydrating throughout the night. And I know that there's a different opinions on how much water you should drink, what color your urine should be. I don't want to get into all that because how that is. But I do like to hydrate right off the bat.
I'm looking
Yeah.
at the color of your urine.
Yeah, anyways. So what I'll do after I have some initial water, about 20 ounces of water, is I'll take my electrolytes. Sometimes that's in the form of a supplement, but normally I just get this stuff called new salt, which is like just like pure potassium, and I'll make my own little concoction in a cup. I'll just pour a little bit of the new salt in there, about a half a teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt, and then I'll put my creatine in there. That's like the only real supplement that I take is the creatine. And then I'll take a magnesium pill, and I'll just stir up the salt, new salt, and creatine, and then I'll just drink it down like a shot. And then I'll just continue to hydrate, probably drink a black coffee, and that'll be my pre-workout, or just how I get my day started. So I won't typically eat or ingest any calories until at least a 16-hour fast is complete. That's probably the bare minimum of my fasting protocol. And then I'll usually break my fast with a bulletproof coffee. I do love me a good bulletproof coffee. And that's how I normally break my fast. And then I'll normally have just one meal. Sometimes I'll have two meals, but for the most part, it's just bulletproof coffees and then one great meal at the end of the day. Because that's one thing about me, is I've always struggled with wanting to feel full, and I'd have struggled with an eating disorder. And I think that for me, fasting allows me to be able to eat a large meal and still feel satiated and have that full feeling and feel satisfied, where I can sustain that and not have to feel hungry or deprived.
Okay, so what's in your bulletproof coffee, and then what's on your plate that's satiating and carries you through?
Okay. So typically my bulletproof coffee is pretty boring. It's just butter, heavy cream, sometimes some sugar-free syrups, but I'm trying to get away from that too. So I'll just use like some liquid stevia, or if I'm at Starbucks, I'll ask them to put the stevia in it. So it's just typically butter and heavy cream. But if I'm like really trying to get a fatty, brain clarity bulletproof coffee, that I'll add some coconut oil in there for the flavor of it. I'll add some MCT oil in there as well. And I might even do like a scoop of keto meal in it and blend it up. Oh, I did recently discover putting a raw egg into it and then blending it, and it makes it like super creamy and frothy. Like it's actually pretty delicious. I don't know.
Gonzo Keto, or Keto Gonzo, was doing the egg. Do
Yeah.
you remember him?
I don't think so.
I think he was doing quite a bit of it, and then he took up art, or he, reintroduced art into his life, and that's all
Hmm.
I've seen now are his paintings, which are magnificent. But he introduced me to the egg too. That
I'll
looks,
have to check that out.
yeah. Okay, so then
Yeah. So for dinner, it's really different every night, pretty much. Like I'm actually capable of just saying I'll eat the same thing all week. I can do that. That's no problem for me. My girlfriend, however, she doesn't like to eat the same thing over and over. So what I'm eating is just kind of depending on what she's craving or what I'm craving. It could be typically. So typically, it's going to be a protein source, a fatty protein, like if I eat chicken, it's definitely going to be chicken thighs or chicken quarters, the fatty cuts of the meat. But I love ribeye. That's like my favorite. Oh my gosh, like there's nothing better for me than some ribeye, Brussels
mm,
sprouts, and maybe some cheesy cauliflower on the side with some avocado. I know that sounds like a lot of food, but remember, I'm eating just one meal and I'm a pretty big guy. So um, that's usually what I'm going to: a vegetable, a fatty protein, probably a couple of different vegetables, a fatty protein, and some avocado, and then maybe a decaf bulletproof coffee.
that sounds so good. Now, how many ounces is your ribeye?
It's just going to depend on that day. Because if I'm training heavy, like chest and back, for instance, that's a heavy, long session of training. And so I need to definitely get enough protein in, my macros need to be right for that level of training. And so it's going to defer depending on that activity. If it's a day where I didn't train, if it's a rest day, I won't eat as much because I won't really be as hungry. And so your body doesn't really know the difference between 24 hours or 72 hours or a week even. So, as long as I get my macros in throughout the week, I'm probably okay. But I just find myself being more hungry on those days that I train harder. So I might have a 16-ounce ribeye. And I've done my ketone test the day after waking up after having a large protein meal, and it doesn't seem to affect me. I still produce ketones. I'm still in ketosis. And so I, for myself, have not had an issue with like gluconeogenesis kicking me out from having too much protein, because I've put down some pretty big steaks before. I mean, probably a 22-ounce steak at the steakhouse before and still been able to stay in ketosis. So
Yeah, ribeye is my favorite too. And there's many a day that I'll cook the same two different meals. Um, Greg will have a whole different meal from me because I'm like you. I can be happy with, I'm into this 10-ounce burger with this egg kind of cooked inside of it and then bacon
uh,
and all the drippings, cooking
does
it.
the egg yolk run like when you cut into the burger? Oh, that's the best.
Yeah. And Marla, who I'm interviewing next week, she's already been on once. She calls it her gravy.
Okay, I think I just watched that one with you and Marla, I believe.
Yeah. Doing your homework in case I
Oh,
on me.
yeah. I was like, what's it gonna be like, So,
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So, who's in your feed every day that, like, if they've got a new video out, you don't want to miss it?
oh man, and I feel bad that I don't watch you more, especially because you're giving me this great opportunity. I just am so busy lately, but I definitely try to go and give as much support as I can to the people that are popping up. I've probably subscribed and hit the bell on so many different people, and I think some of them that don't even pop up anymore. But obviously, I'm watching every video Goody Beats puts out there. I just love the guy, love his family and all of that dynamic. I just relate to him so much. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy how much we have in common. But obviously Ketolicious Life. We just go back, and I have so much history with her, and I really love her. Um, Keto Steve is freaking hilarious. I love Keto Steve's content. I don't know. Have you heard of him?
No, that
Keto
I was thinking
Keto
about
Steve. He
sponsor.
puts out recipe videos.
I'll have to check it out.
Okay, so then there's a Lori with oh man, I don't want to mess it up. Is that Fluffy No More, or that's Teresa, right? Or I'm
Something
getting
like that. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
getting everybody mixed up. Let me pull out my phone real quick so I can tell you who exactly I'm watching accurately. Tell you who's on my feed here. Joni, obviously, I know you know Joni from Keto Diamond, so I definitely
Love
watch.
Joni.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
I
awesome.
love the
Nona.
blackboard or the whiteboard.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you watch Nona Grace at all? She is freaking adorable.
She is, isn't she?
Yeah, she's hilarious too. And then yeah, it is Lori from Fluffy No More. No Mo.
No, Mo.
Pearls of Wisdom. I do watch you. Um, Robert Sykes. I don't watch him as much as I used to. It was like every single day was a vlog, and so it was kind of tough to get to watch the whole vlog every single day, especially because I work. I was going to school. Well, I was going to online course for my personal training stuff, and so it got a little overwhelming. But Kimber Keto Life, I do watch her. She's sweet. Man,
I
I'm just going.
interviewed her.
Oh, really? I'll
Yeah,
have
I
to go back and
interviewed
find that
Joni.
one.
I interviewed her. Yeah, because she was Kimberly. And then
Yeah, yeah, she changed it.
Kimber, I told her I love the Kimber because it's such a
Yeah.
name.
Oh, Keto
Yeah.
Connect, obviously. Like, I love Keto Connect. They are so freaking awesome.
Oh my
Have you
God.
ever heard of Logan Sneed with
Yes,
Fusion Lean? Yeah, so his story is tremendously impactful. I find him very motivational, and I love him. Jason Whitrock, obviously. Those are some of the heavy hitters. But I could go on and on because I have like so many people here. Keto Mama, uh, they're just so many.
it is. It's cool. Now, who's your favorite keto expert, like doctor or engineer or um, any of the local
um,
bests?
hmm.
Who do you like from those?
Dr. Barry's awesome. Dr. Jason Fung, I love them. And I don't know if he's an expert. I mean, I don't know if you would consider Jimmy Moore an expert. His podcast really helped me tremendously the Two Keto Dudes podcast with Richard Morris. Man, Richard Morris is awesome. I love him. I would love to meet those guys someday. I probably will one day, obviously, but those are some of my favorite experts. They have just so much knowledge. They've really helped this movement so much, and they've helped me to just have the weaponry to, if somebody asks a question or is trying to challenge keto or trying to tell me something that I know is wrong, they've kind of given you the ability to fight back and say, wait, no, I have scientific evidence here, and at least give you the knowledge that you need to be able to combat that person. So I really do enjoy those podcasts.
I do too. I had a video yesterday. I had a home visit. I'm on Medicare because I'm over 65, and
Mm-hmm.
Blue Cross Blue Shield, and so they send courtesy, no charge, this doctor annually to come and just do a home health visit. So it's not my regular NP.
Right.
And so this aired yesterday, and she really pushed stuff on me, including her own this personal.
Oh no.
And I was just so taken aback. And the year before, she was so alternative, and that's why she was doing this, because she got to go in the home and spend hours like going over somebody's history and making suggestions and what supplements do you take. Like it was almost like a massage. It was such a treat to have somebody so personal the year before.
Yeah.
And it's almost like she went vegan or something, because she
Oh no.
wanted to hear about the keto and, your cholesterol, it's dangerous, and why aren't you on a statin? And then
Wow.
pushing the supplement that she sells. And it was like, it's like, and she's in my house, right? And it was
Right.
a 2-hour visit, and the first hour and 45 minutes were great. I learned a lot about me. Like, she would question why I'm taking this, or, have I had this test? And then she started in on the supplement that she sells. And it's like, this is feeling really, it's like a date gone back.
It's spammy right now.
Yeah. Ugh. So anyway, it was just interesting. And all I could think of was, where's my legion of my keto and carnivore community? Like Sean Baker,
Yeah.
protect me, because
Right.
like
Sean Baker's
when
awesome.
somebody is pharmaceutical centered and driven, you're not going to get away from them. It doesn't have to be scientific. It just has to be what Lipitor says, And
Right.
I don't know, but
I just don't understand in today's day and age, with all this science available and all this research, how people can still say things like, "Oh my God, your cholesterol!" Like that, to me, that just, and I don't want to sound pompous or anything, but that's just like a sign of ignorance to me. If you are immediately trying to tell me about my cholesterol when I tell you about a high fat, low carb diet, then that just to me tells me that you're not educated enough, or you're not up to date with the recent science, because that's just not what all the science points to anymore. And I just
so
don't
true.
understand it. It's just crazy to me how, especially the medical community, it's like, you guys should be advocating for this. This is saving lives. And so when I get fired up,
it's also saving money. And
that's true.
Yeah.
You're right.
Dr. Berry, he had my most favorite line. And of course, his accent, I'd follow him anywhere. And so he says, if your regular doctor, gets on you about your cholesterol and statins, and you're feeling like maybe you should, and he goes, but then you listen here and you learn you don't need it. Cholesterol's not a danger. He said, just kind of feel sorry for them. A lot of paperwork that they just got to read up. They haven't had a chance to read on the new that's out there. So just, just feel sorry for them. They're just busy.
Right.
That's certainly a nice way of putting it.
I think that the majority of, medical professionals want to help people. That's what they probably got into that practice for. So I'm not trying to knock on the medical field or anything like that. It's just, just to me, it's daunting at times to just see all this information available to us. And then we're still kind of stuck in this old way of thinking, like we're going based off of 30-year-old science. It's like, there's a reason why we have new technology and we have all these resources available to us. Let's utilize that and let's save lives. Like I was trying to say, I get fired up when people call this a fad diet, because it's like, are you kidding me? Like, fad diets don't reverse type 2 diabetes. They don't help with seizures. Like there's all these different benefits of this lifestyle outside of just weight loss. I always tell people, even when I'm like trying to coach people or, get them to come to keto, it's like, that's like the bottom of the benefits of keto, is the weight loss. That's almost like just a perk, it's way
You
bigger
really
than
have
that.
to like empty out your brain when you let in the keto philosophy, because we all, most of us started here for the weight loss, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
And then it's like, but wow, I'm sleeping like I never slept. I've got more energy than I ever had. Look at me in the gym, not me, but you. And, and the thirst that we have for more knowledge, and the
Right.
community and the support. And it's like, I wouldn't trade any of it.
Right. And that is one thing I really love, is just the community, like the keto community is just there's so much compassion in it. And I just love that.
Is your girlfriend keto?
Yeah, actually, she came kicking and screaming at her at first, but reluctantly. It's because I do all the cooking. So she kind of was
You
just
do
like,
all the
all right.
cooking?
Yeah, yeah, I love to cook. I have a culinary background. I was actually, I cooked professionally in restaurants and managed kitchens for years, so I really do love to cook.
But she just doesn't like to repeat the same meal.
Yeah, she gets tired of the same food. So like I said, for me, I can meal prep one meal for the whole week and be fine with that. She ain't about that life.
Yeah, same with Greg. So, he'll get chicken thighs and I'll get yet another burger.
Right, right.
Well, do you know how long we've been talking?
I don't
Almost
actually.
40 minutes.
Dang, that went by like that.
It did go by like that, didn't it? We'll have to have you back for sure. Are you at the weight that you want to be at?
Um,
Or
I'm
body
really
size?
trying, yeah, I'm really trying to work hard on making a mental switch with weight because I really don't think anybody should be trying to lose weight. We should be trying to lose fat. And I just really have from being within that if you're if it fits your macros mentality for so long, and kind of going off what that scale was telling me for so long, it's really hard to make those mental adjustments. Like even when I try to talk to people about doing it, like stay off the scale doesn't matter, and then I get on the scale and I don't like what I see. It's like I need to take my own advice, and so I really don't want to concentrate. I'm not at my goal um, physique. If that, I definitely want to lose some more fat. And so if that looks like a heavier weight on the scale, but a chiseler me, then that's where I want to be. And I just got to work at that every day with heavy training, getting my diet right. But I'm still cutting right now for like the next 3 weeks. And then I'm going to just maintenance for a while. So
And how often do you weigh?
it just depends on my goals. If I'm cutting, I really don't believe in getting on the scale very often because it can really mess with you mentally because it fluctuates day to day. And so I sometimes poke at Joni for this because I'm like, I don't believe in getting on the scale every day because if it goes up one day and you did everything right the day before, then it kind of defeats you. You feel a little bit defeated, like, well, I did everything right, but it's just water retention. You can't gain 5 pounds of fat overnight. So I really
And God
try
knows
to.
we tried before with the standard American diet, right?
Right, exactly. So I would say weekly weigh-ins for me. But if I'm like really trying to pay attention to what my body's doing how it reacts to different foods that I'm eating, if I'm trying to gain some data from a daily weigh-in, then I will do daily weigh-ins just to see, okay, I ate this and then that kind of my body reacted this way to it.
You sound like you are so healthy about but you do, John. You do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So below, I'm going to post your YouTube channel so people
Yeah.
can see it. And I told you this is airing on the 17th, so
Okay.
days from now. And it drops at like 1 a.m. because a lot of people watch the video as a bedtime story in California.
Ah, okay,
Kind
nice.
of funny. And you're welcome to, like promote yourself saying it's coming Friday or then promoting yourself and then putting the link to the video. This has been wonderful.
Awesome.
I'm sure that we have a lot of males that watch here. And I love to hear the quality of the food addiction component because it's not just a female thing.
Right.
You certainly had it with your woo.
Yeah.
You're rolling.
Absolutely. I would love to come back sometime if you'd have me and we could get into that because obviously we've been talking for so long, but with food addiction and just eating disorder, that's a whole different subject, man. I would love to dive into that with you.
Oh, good. We'll do that the next time then.
All
So
right.
say thank you to you and
Thank you.
my viewers. And
Thank you so much.
yeah, it's been great. So you stay, and I'm saying
Okay.
bye to the viewers. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food. Thanks for waving, John. That's cute. Hold on.